So you just have to get to know what I call the players in any given market, in any area in the country.
Now let's shift the hat to Expert CRE Secrets podcast. We're focused on commercial real estate brokers who are doing deals and helping their clients do the same. And perhaps they're trying to land that billion-dollar client, right, to do more transactions and add value. And so how does, what advice or coaching would you give to a broker who's, trying to grow and land those type of clients? What's the best thing to do?
Well, you always want to focus on what I'd call active investors, people that are actively out buying properties. When you talk to an owner and they haven't bought a building in 5 years, you're probably not going to have much success with them because they're inactive. They're in a passive stage. But people go through passive stages and all of a sudden become active again. Maybe their next door neighbor buys their property from them and now they have some cash and they go out and buy a bunch of buildings, or maybe they go through a situation where they need to sell a bunch of properties. It happens. So you just have to expand your network to know a lot of people. That's obviously the important thing, but then find people that are actually going to go out and be buying 5 or 10 buildings. The people that buy 5 buildings the following year will probably wind up selling 1 or 2 of them. So you just have to get to know what I call the players in any given market. In any area in the country, there's maybe a handful of people or a couple hundred people that are doing probably 80% of the real estate transactions. As long as you're in with a few of them, you're going to do well. It's just logic.
Yeah, it makes sense. I remember being at Marcus Millichap, and they taught on a concept that had to do with segmenting different clients or different owners of real estate in different stages. And one of the stages was called, they use the analogy of dinosaurs. You have herbivores, right? And herbivores are they're low velocity clients, right? They maybe transact 1, 2, 3 deals in their lifetime, right? They're typically not actively, managing or operating, doing the properties. This is something they've done on the side as a retirement plan, right? And it's a different type of sales, sequence, if you will, or just the way you communicate. So those are the herbivores. And then you have kind of in the middle, you have the general dinosaur. And the dinosaur is the one who's a collector of real estate, right? They really never sell. They own all the best buildings on the best corners, and they're collectors of real estate. They're kind of like the guy in Monopoly, right? They're just trying to get every single, place.
We have them in every market. There's the guy who just refuses to sell.
He's never going to sell.
Buy, refinance, buy. And the brokers hate that guy because he never sells.
Yeah.
Like the joke is like they turn into a museum. Like it's never going to sell.
Exactly. Those are the dinosaurs. And the last one, though, here's the one, is the carnivores. Okay. And the carnivores are your active real estate professionals, buyers, actively adding value, selling, transacting. And those are the ones doing 80% of the deals, right? The other 20% is mixed between the herbivores and the dinosaurs. Maybe it's 30%, mix, 20% dinosaur, 10% herbivore, something like that. But really what you want to set your focus on those who are actively doing it. Is that a fair summary?
It is. I mean, the reality though is every other broker is also working on those same, T-Rexes or whatever you want to call them.
Sure.
The guy who's flipping deals, he buys 10 buildings, puts 5 back in the market, buys 10 more, puts 5 back in the market. I mean, every broker in town's chasing that individual. So you just have to spend your time wisely. It just, you have to figure out where to put your time and make your effort. Because at the end of the day, you're going to make almost all your money with a handful of buyers and sellers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to really develop deep relationships. I mean, it's challenging in this business because you could spend a ton of time working with 1 or 2 investors, and then all of a sudden, like, they move on or something happens, and then you're like, remember that book, like, Where Did My Cheese Go? Like when cheese moved.
Move my cheese, yeah.
It's like, this is going to happen to everyone's business plan, to every business in the world. Like, things will change, and you're going to go, huh? Now what?